All right, so the reason why I'm actually recording this video is not just for you guys to use this as a way to practice your English, but also, maybe even more importantly, for me to talk to you guys about this idea which, like at this point in my life, being 27, like having this, having like helping people learn languages as my job, as my profession, right? And lifestyle, pretty much, fundamentally, right? Is the one thing that I feel like is the most important one, right? When it comes to learning languages, when it comes to like fundamentally even achieving anything you want in life, which is, why are you doing this? You know, like what's the reason behind it? The real reason. I'm not talking about what you were taught to reply, right? So if someone asks you, okay, but why do you want to improve your skills when it comes to English? Why do you want to improve your Spanish, your Italian, your whatever language, whatever skill, whatever something that you're trying to get better at, right? Possibly you were taught to respond, well, because of my resume. You know, it's just, it makes sense. You know, I'm trying to, you know, like reach new heights, new levels in life, the company that I'm working on, or actually I want to leave this company and work for a better company, you know, and earn more, and maybe like even travel the world because of my job, and like have to work in this other language. Possibly that's it. But then again, possibly that's just what you were taught to say when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, when like somewhere along your life you were taught that. Or maybe it's networking, maybe it's traveling the world, maybe it's just like, I think it'd be cool, you know, it's nice, it's like, it's a personal thing, it's, you know, maybe that's it. But very likely that's not it. Or not just that, you know. Reason why I'm pointing that out is because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you don't wake up at like 5, 6 a.m. hyped. Cause like, oh my God, another day, another opportunity for me to improve my resume. No one does that shit, you know? So thing is, when I point this thing, when I try to like make you reflect on this, is actually because I want you to seriously engage in this like thought exercise. Let's put it like that. Like, why do I actually want this? You know? And even, do I actually want this? Like, is this an actual priority in my life right now? You know? Maybe it isn't. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we're not just talking about, and this is what I feel like most people do not understand. And because they don't get this, they can't stick to this endeavor, to this like project of learning their language, or reaching this, like improving on this skill, whatever that might be, right? Which is, when we're talking about learning another language, improving on a certain skill, acquiring new skills, we're not just talking about the skill, the acquisition of the skill, the development of it. We're actually talking about, or rather we should be, right, at least in the perfect world, ideally, we should be talking about the person that you will become throughout the process, right? I get it. I understand. It might sound cliche, like, well, it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey. I get it. You probably heard this like 1,000 times. But then again, another cliche within this, let's say, is cliches exist for a reason. You know? If you say the same thing, like if a bunch of societies and peoples and, I don't know, like different ages and countries, and like, if everyone noticed the same thing, well, it's probably a reason behind that, right? So if you notice, if you think about, okay, I want to learn this language, I want to get better at it, I want to maybe like, I don't know, change jobs, change companies, or travel the world, or like move to this specific country or city, or I don't know, something like that. Who do you want to become? That's the thing that I want you to like think about. Who do you want to become? What does that look like? That future where you are actually fluent in English or Spanish or Italian, whatever language it is. Or just like fully proficient at this other skill that you want to develop, right? That future, what does it actually look like? Meaning, Who are you in that future? And by that, I mean, and I invite you to consider, one, who you are, which entails the relationships you have, the skills you've acquired, the habits, most important one in my opinion, the habits you actually have, the things you actually do every single day. Where do you live, right? Or maybe like the places that you tend to spend most of your time in, right? Which could be countries, could be cities, could be, I don't know, right? The job or jobs maybe that you have. I don't know, maybe you have like, you're gonna have, or you envision that like you want this for you, like having multiple companies or traveling with, I don't know, like serving multiple people or like multiple organizations. I don't know. But the thing is, that looks like something. And my point is, after literally this year, I just thought about this, literally this year, wrapping up like a full blown decade, dude. Talking about 10 years, right? Of living, learning, teaching, living languages, right? And by extension, psychology, neurosciences, philosophy, entrepreneurship, all that, right? In this full decade that I've been like in it, you know, this is by far the most important thing I've noticed that is sort of like a makes you or breaks you type of deal. Meaning, if you're not clear on the future that you want to have for yourself, on the person that you want to become, on the things you want to achieve, but like literally every single detail or as many details as you can enlist for yourself mentally and actually visualize that, where you're going to live, where you're going to be, the relationships you're going to have, which possibly means that when you think of that future that you truly want for yourself, not because your family told you that you should want that, or because your religion told you you should want that, or because your girlfriend, or your current boyfriend, or your current wife, or husband, or whoever the fuck it is, told you that you should want that. Fuck them. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about you, right? This is just me and you right now. When you consider that, when you listen to yourself, what does that future actually look like? Because when you think about it, that could mean you'll have to leave your current job. You'll have to leave, and you know it, possibly, I don't know. You know that you will have to leave. If you want to actually get there, you will inevitably have to leave your current friends or your current, I don't know, girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend, neighborhood, town, maybe even your family. I'm not talking about like leaving your wife behind. I'm not talking about that. I'm not fucking crazy. I mean, like maybe you live with your family right now, and these people are like, let me put it this way. If they weren't your family, you wouldn't live with them. You know what I'm talking about? You wouldn't like, I don't know, give them certain passes just because, well, it's my brother, man. What can I do? Well, I can get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you actually take this seriously enough, right? And consider the fact that, and for me, it's a fact, like, or at least it should be, that learning the language will or should at least help you get to this future, this ideal future that you want to live, right? That you want to, let's like quote unquote manifest, let's put it like that, through your actions, right? Through actual movement, through actual momentum that you will generate through your actions, right? When you consider that, then you will have to consider, like it's inevitable, you will have to do this at a certain point, right? You should have to consider the things you will need to leave behind, right? The things that, in order for you to actually learn this skill, to become through it, right? The person that you know you're meant to be, right? Which could entail your vocation, your deepest desires, your childhood dreams, all that, right? When you consider all that, you will have to consider all of the things that you will have to abandon in order for this to grow, in order for this to actually be present, be made real, be made manifest, be manifested in your life, So the reason why I want you, if you're following this, like all the things that I've said so far, what I want you to do at the end of this video is to actually consider this. And by the way, I'm talking about this because this was one of the main ideas, possibly like the first thing that really like struck me, that felt like a gut punch, you know, which is the idea of Jordan Peterson, which is like a writer, author, psychologist, professor, you know, guy definitely changed my life, you know. And he, like, I remember watching his lectures or like clips of his lectures, and sometimes even like the full lectures or podcasts, and reading his books as well. But fundamentally watching his lectures back in like 2016, 2017, like around that time. And he would talk about this program called the Future Authoring Program, which is something that he and his team developed, right? Which fundamentally is like at a, how can I say, much more deeper level, right? And with a lot more detail and explanations and clarity, right? Because I just don't have the knowledge to pull that off. But it's fundamentally like something that you sign up. It's kind of like a test, right? That you take in a way, I guess, where you just answer these questions, but you actually like take, let's say like a day to try to figure this out clearly. Or like a week where you just reflect on this and then you actually, you know, fill it out and answer it. Which is like it's almost like a form, let's put it like that, where you have to, in full detail, envision the life that you want to live in like a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you know? Which, again, I know that like in job interviews, this is probably like one of the most, if not the most cliche question ever. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, like, I know it's cliche. But then again, people don't ask that for no reason. Because you got to have a direction, right? If you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're supposed to do. If you don't know what you're supposed to do, you can't take action. And not taking action is the perfect recipe for disaster, for depression, for just like not doing anything, not being anything, not becoming anything, remaining just as you are. Bro, what the hell? Come on, man. You know you could be doing more. But then again, more for what? You know, like you could be, supposedly, like theoretically, let's suppose that you right now, you know that you could be doing more to learn English, to get better at French, whatever the hell. All right. Why though? That's my point. Why do you want to learn this? What do you want to do with it? Who do you want to become through it? What do you want to build with it? You know, the only reason, and I can guarantee you, I swear to God, the only reason why I kept going with like language after language, right? I speak 6 at this point. The only reason why I could keep going, 2019, 2020, we're talking about like COVID, lockdowns, bro. Definitely the easiest moment, maybe like in recent times, to get depressed, to, you know, like have a lot of psychological issues, which I definitely went through that. But the reason why, again, I was able to pull this off, to keep going, to not give up, to not fully stop and just like not care about it, meaning the process of learning other languages, is because I knew who I wanted to become. And I reflected on it every single day. I knew years ago that I wanted to be doing this right now, what I'm currently doing, talking to a camera that I know eventually, even like if just one person watches this, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be enough, you know? And I know that eventually I would be able to build like some sort of studio and have an audience and talk. I knew years ago, because I thought a lot about it. And this is just the beginning. And my point is exactly that. What the fuck do you actually want to do with this language or this skill? Who do you want to be? What's the reality that you want to live in? What should you be doing right now to get closer to that? That's my point. Fundamentally, if you don't have that clear, again, you're not going to know what you should be doing. If you don't know what you should be doing, you're not going to do anything. Or even worse, you fall for distractions. And then we're talking about Instagram Reels, we're talking about TikTok, we're talking about porn, we're talking about video games, we're talking about addictions. Bro, the list goes on and on, right? So I hope this video can help you figure that out, or at least like put the thought in your mind to reflect on it just as a seed and let it grow, right? Entertain these thoughts. Like, okay, where am I actually going? What am I here for? You know, which then again, like I said, it's a personal thing. It's a philosophical thing. Really, it is. So do take your time with this. If you have questions, if you feel like you need some help, leave some comments. I'll definitely answer all of you guys. And yeah, when it comes to English, I hope this video was good practice for you. This is definitely not the type of vocabulary that you're gonna hear a lot of people using, because it's like it's a specific subject, right? But then again, I don't like the thing that I want to do with languages is inspire people. So you're not gonna see me talking about like, I don't know, like the kitchen vocabulary, you know, which is not useless, but that's just not me, bro. You know, so again, hope this was useful. If I can help you with anything else, please leave a comment. And then again, if you don't know me, if you don't know this channel, and you want to learn another language, you want to build something great with your life, if you want to change who you are for the better and eventually impact other people's lives, definitely subscribe, definitely check the newsletter and subscribe to the newsletter as well. And count on me. That's it. I'll see you soon.